So our story continues with the two gods of destruction who are left remaining in the multiverse. Iwan, god of destruction for Universe 1, and Mule, god of destruction for Universe 3, with both remaining in an eerie silence as they stare at the god killer who had slain so many of their fellow divine brethren. But still standing there, drooling, unresponsive, and in a vegetative state after being trapped in an infinite nightmare, is Vegito. Oh, you are so much more of a delight to look at when you can't talk, aren't you, my dear Vegito?
Okay, so Madara put Vegito in like some kind of trance last episode. Like literal Madara stuff from like Naruto and stuff. So,
and defenseless than a mere toddler.
So he's pretty much just stuck there.
But as Vegito remained stood still,
I don't know where these gods came from right here. They just came out of nowhere. But
Mule's robotic core.
I don't know.
Until from within,
they tracked them down, I guess.
Voice is heard saying, "Enough of this. It's time I dealt with this dirt myself." And out of the metallic exoskeleton,
why is he even inside of this robot thing anyway?
God of destruction
is he just trying to like be similar to his mortals like in his universe? Because like I think in his universe, I think everybody is like robots, right? But he's not, obviously.
As with an angered, betrothed look.
Well, not everybody, but I think most of them are. Something like that.
Pathetic. The blood of gods and angels are still all over your clothes. The stench of your actions has not left you even to this day, and the debt of your sins will never be repaid, God Killer. But you can bet I'll collect as much of it as I can. You sorry piece of trash! As Mule then finally begins stepping out, staring Vegito down and yelling profanities, before, with gritted teeth, he would then begin thinking back and letting out, "You know, even years ago at the Tournament of Power, when I first met you as your separate selves, I always knew you were not to be trusted. Mere mortals, calling themselves Super Saiyan gods? Don't make me laugh, you disgusting subspecies. Accessing some sort of counterfeit divine energy and suddenly placing you in the same realm as us deities? And what's worse, all this while that silly cat Beerus would just gawk and scream like a cheerleader. And now look where that got him. Gone like the rest of them. Gone like my fellow gods!
Oh damn, okay.
In a wrath of fury, then slamming his fist across the face of the defenseless.
I mean, hey man, Beerus did that to himself.
Sending his head snapping back without a sound from the God Killer to even respond. Sending Vegito's near lifeless body to slam back onto the ground, far off and back.
That's the same way King Sadala slammed on his head.
Let go and falls to the ground, stabbing into it. And still, even with blood now seeping from his chin where Mule struck, he just remains lost, deep within the nightmare. You damn fool! I'll make you pay for every god you've slain!
And these dudes are some cowards, dude. Why are they hitting him when he's down, bro? It's like the same thing as someone like punches somebody when they're unconscious or something like that. Like, what's the point of it?
Wipe that stupid look off your face, demon! As brutally, Mule then lands with a thunderous stomp right on Vegito's face, compressing it momentarily inwards as if stepping on a balloon. Ambitiously, in a rampage of unprovoked assault, Mule would then begin stamping non-stop on the face of the motionless Vegito. But as his face begins to get barraged by the foot of the god, nothing changes on the expression of the God Killer, except for the flurry of blood that gushes out of his face that has also become bruised all over. He won! But after finally growing fatigued from his onslaught on Vegito's face,
he got fatigued?
the God of Destruction quickly turns around to his fellow member and yells, "Listen, I know you don't talk much, but don't you want a piece of this too? All of the destroyers he killed, the stress he caused us, the pain. This is our revenge, my friend. Seize it with both hands." But in response, Iwan just remains calm and silent as expected, levitating off the ground with his hands.
I wonder how he would look
back
without that
before he
beard,
finally
honestly.
lets out,
Probably look horrifying,
what
honestly.
you say has some truth, Mule. You may be right. As much as I would enjoy giving that monster over there a true beating, I say we handicap him further first. Just in case he wakes up.
Okay, he's playing strategic.
Allow me to Hakai his arms and legs while he's still like this.
Okay.
The response leading to Mule instantly laughing maniacally as he continues with his foot just above Vegito's face. What a fine idea, Iwan! To think, you barely speak, but when you do, it is to say the most sadistic ideas. I'll take you up on that offer, but let us do it together. And then, even if he does wake up from this thing, I'd love to see him just try and fight us with just his head. Hold it right there,
It is another thing
children.
too, like when like body parts get
But
Hakai,
just as Mule
like,
and
do you feel
Iwan become
pain?
increasingly
right? And do
excited
you
at the
bleed? I
idea
don't
of
think
dismembering
it's like
the
either of
Vegito,
those.
a
It's kind of
familiar
weird.
but
I wonder
authoritative
like how
voice
Hakai like
calls from
actually
the
works.
shadows. And it is revealed to be, of course, Madara, second of the 5 strongest and defeater of Ultra Vegito. With his hand eccentrically placed on his mask, he would then let out, "Don't even bother with that stupid idea. This one is no ordinary Saiyan from what I've gathered. His body has regeneration ability somehow. Something to do with a power he refers to as Boo? Who knows whatever that is. But the only way to hurt this one is to erase him completely. However, like I said, the priest himself said he wants him back alive. And if you want to disobey him and deal with the aftermath, then so be it. But I will not be around to protect you fools." Damn it! Causing the smaller God of Destruction Mule to immediately cuss out in frustration, as he begrudgingly grumbles, "You've got to be kidding me! Just what kind of ungodly changes has this freak undergone, huh? Where would he even get access to such things? All from within Universe 7?
Yes.
But I guess the real
Yeah, Universe 7 is indeed stacked.
what does the Dai Shinken want with him? Could it be the time rings? Or maybe Whis' staff?
Probably the time
Either
rings.
way, how annoying we can't enjoy our revenge fully, God Killer. Iwan, you better get a whacking now while you still can. And immediately, as if never having to be told twice, Iwan appears with his foot raised and ready to stamp on Vegito too, yelling back, "So be it then. I'll enjoy this as much as I can." As instantly as the gods begin simultaneously attacking, Madara just watches on bemused, commenting, "What petty, weak beings." And And all the while, yet again,
Vegito's still alive, at least, so that's good.
And unable to do a thing as more and more blood and bruises plague him under the brutal beating. But in a curious sight, as we zoom in on his left eye, a sudden stream of tears begins to fall. Could it be in reaction to the physical pain, or perhaps a more emotional and mental one from what is happening within his mind? Let me go! But as we finally peek back into the infinite nightmare the God Killer is trapped in, like a martyr, we see Vegito pinned by chains to a standing tall, T-shaped structure. And below seem to be the once thought erased Gohan, Goten, Trunks, Chi-Chi and Bulma, his family members, and the closest people within his life. Hakai! But from a distance, the sinister words of the destroyers unfortunately is heard, and of course, first Trunks begins to erase again. Dad! Before so too is the young Goten. Dad! But still standing
I don't think they feel any pain though.
Voice,
like the real ones, I don't think they would have
Vegito,
felt pain
watching
from
on,
this.
would scold. What are you doing? Aren't you going to do anything to stop them, Dad? Do something! Save us! Hakai! But before any more can be said, the same fate is awaited for the young Saiyan once again. For the third time, now being erased right before the eyes of Vegito. No! Stop it!
Oh, damn.
And when we do see the effects of
his
such
face has
trauma on
seen
the
better
God
days,
Killer,
man.
its
Yeah.
impact is clear. As with rivers of warm tears flooding down his cheeks and drool shooting out of his mouth as he yells, the God Killer is seen at his lowest and as a shell of his former self.
He almost looks like a
After
ghost,
an unknown
dude.
quantity of
Looks like he's like
pure
86 or
traumatic
something in this
torture.
picture right here. Damn.
Goku! Vegeta! But things do not end there, as suddenly, from the particles left behind of his sons, his two wives, Chi-Chi and Bulma, then run in disarray towards their husband. Save us! And instantly, as if holding onto for dear life, literally, the two grab onto the feet of their spouse, not knowing there was nothing Vegito could even do to hug them back. But regardless, with tears flooding down her own eyes, Chi-Chi with a look of sadness and fear would say, Goku, don't let me die, please. While Bulma, equally sad and tearing up, would add, Vegeta, don't you love me? Hakai! Just as tragically as before, both women are instantly then disposed of by the seemingly hidden god surrounding them, and in the most permanent of ways. Chi-Chi! Bulma! Leaving the severely heartbroken Saiyan to just scream out their names one more time, unable to distinguish now reality from illusion anymore. I will kill you! Leaving the God Killer to do the only thing he can as he explodes in power, yelling as hard as he can as if anybody would be able to hear him. As electricity then begins to surround his entire body, yet none of this has even the slightest effect of freeing him from his T-shaped cage. Pathetic. But as Vegito screams and roars, finally, the 12 gods of destruction appear before him, all smiling and snickering, just watching on as if the God Killer was a mere exhibit at the zoo. But suddenly, from all the laughter, a cry is heard. the cry of a baby Pan. As the merciless apparition of Belmont lifts the child by the hand, says,
"No, Belmont, don't do it.
Seems I have something of yours, Vegito.
Oh no!
How do I turn this thing off, eh? Burn! You let go of her now! Immediately causing the grandfather, of course, to become furious in an unsurmountable
No, Belmont, don't do it, bro. Don't do it!
As he speaks through gritted teeth.
Oh, shit.
But back in reality, while all this mental trauma goes on, an equal amount of physical damage is laid out too. As the two destroyers, Mule and Ewan, continue to stamp on Vegito's face until barely a breath can be heard. But back in the dream, Belmont's eye begins to move slowly towards the still crying Pan until... Hakai! With one more final word said, the unthinkable is done to the defenseless child. Grandpa? As in a total throwback to what originally happened on Earth, the young baby Pan is erased prematurely once again, and this time right in front of her grandfather. And instantly, with this sight now in mind, freshly scorched into his eyes, something snaps finally within the now extremely brittle mental state of Vegito. And with his eyes suddenly closing as veins begin to flex on his face, the God Killer would just let out, "My head! Why is my head hurting? Why are you doing this?" Almost as if finally, Vegito was beginning to sense what was happening in the real world now too. And with an ungodly roar that could only be described as coming from a true demon, Vegito screams to the sky, powering up, instantly breaking everything that bound him. But most notably, atop his head, where he was complaining about from being in pain, two vicious and uncharacteristic horns suddenly burst forth from the sides of his temple. And with the horns now at full length, and seemingly not even noticed by Vegito, once his eyes and expression came down back to normal, he begins saying,
"Enough of this. Everything will be paid for now."
Immediately leading to Vegito once again screaming with a truly beastly roar, as the God Killer raises his head straight up and yells to the heavens as if demanding his escape. But soon enough, his entire body, as a result of his power-up, begins to completely become enveloped in a ball of shining energy that spits dark lightning all over until... Back on the outside, the barrage of stabs of Vegito
on the outside,
finally begin to come to an end. As eventually, as the two gods raise their feet for one last time, all that can be heard is the breaths of their exhausted states.
Damn, they're tired and Vegito's still not dead.
That is until... Wait a second. His energy, it's... Out of nowhere, Mule's face is totally lost in a flash of light that can only mean one thing.
He's back. Whoa.
Some way, somehow, Vegito's explosion of energy from within his mind reaches outwards and causes an insane explosion that covers the landscape, darkening the sky as black thunder bursts forward everywhere.
Okay.
And when we look at the deities that watch on, Luckily for them,
they're
both
still alive.
Iwan and Mule managed to survive, though thoroughly trying their best to cover and protect themselves as the wind and pressure from Vegito's power even blows off some of their clothing. While as expected, the unfazed, physically Madara seems to watch on with more curiosity than fear. And once the explosion of energy comes to an end, nothing can actually be seen or detected from within the thick clouds of smoke that remain until something shoots out with terrifying speed straight out of the dust clouds, so fast there would have never been any way to deduce just who or what it was. That is until finally a dark creature lands on the ground with a crash, not letting out any words but just beastly grumbles as if the stranger was less human and more animal. Could this really be who we think it is?
Whoa, what the
When
hell?
the figure is finally revealed,
Okay, so he actually
all
has
we can
real
see
horns.
Is a pitch black beast, horns visible and hair similar to Vegito.
I'm wondering, like, is that
Sense of the
skin?
humanity
But no,
seems
it's
to
probably
be
not
well
skin. It's just like
and
a
truly
silhouette
gone.
for now.
And up in the air, lifted in his left arm, is none other than the Blade of Destruction, indicating even in this primal state, this dark beast is still ready to kill. As the grumbling, mysterious beast begins letting out steaming smoke which bellows out of his gritted mouth, and just one word then can be finally heard.
Yeah, he's mad.
But though that
He's
word
mad,
gave
bro.
us our biggest clue towards this beast somehow being Vegito, once said, the black beast resorts back to grumbles, staring into the palm of his now clawed hand, marveling at his newfound power, or at least that would be how it seemed. Is that? But now on the ground and more fearful than ever, Mule and Iwan would take notice from a distance. But as we zoom in on Mule, the true state of their fears come to light, as with a trembling voice, Mule would then let out, "What? That can't be the God Killer? Not in a million years! Why does he look like that now? Why does he look like... Oh! Lucifer!" As suddenly, a wave of paralyzing
man, his
shock and
face.
terror explodes through the body of Mule, as sweat drips at speed all across his face at just the mere resemblance to the legendary being that seemingly all of the gods fear. Iwan! This has gotten way too dangerous! We're getting out of here now! And in a quick shock response, Mule would then grab
I mean, they was
onto the
literally
wrist of
beating
the
him. They was
stunned
literally
into
beating
silence
him up,
Iwan
and they were
by
getting
force
tired, and he was still
and
alive,
attempt to
right?
get
So I
away.
mean,
But this apparently is not unnoticed by the dark beast, who immediately then squints his eyes in the direction of the gods, before then turning around abruptly to face them, his eyes pinpointed at them in the distance, before the seemingly now battle-conscious being
Oh, no, man, y'all gotta run, bro.
with his palm
oh
facing
no,
the
this
duo
dude,
of destroyers,
Vegito looks
with only
scary.
one
I'm not even gonna
outcome
lie, bro.
left on its mind. And immediately with two clear victims
Hey,
in
yo,
mind,
Big Bang
the
attack,
dark
bro?
beast fires an even darker ball of ferocious energy straight towards the
It would
duo
actually be
of
cool if it was
gods.
called Dark Big Bang Attack. That would
What's
be kind
that?
of nice.
And though the ball deceptively looks small at first, by the time it reaches near enough the destroyers, the true size is apparent, almost able to dwarf their bodies, and more than likely enough to erase them instantly. Can't you two fools even get running away, right? But
okay, he intercepted it. I wasn't sure what he. I wasn't sure if he was gonna like help him or not.
The second arrives, sword in hand, and ready to seemingly bear the brunt of the blast for them. But as the dark blast reaches within inches, Madara moves his blade back and yells with intensity, as if about to slice through the energy until... Your god-killing days will not be continuing while I'm around, Vegito. As immediately, with full confidence, the second slams his legendary blade down onto the blast, as if putting down an animal, with thunderous crackling of black lightning roaring all over as he strikes and attempts to push the energy ball back. Huh? But his strike doesn't seem to go exactly as he had first planned, as quickly Madara notices and comments, "Huh? What's this? It's not going back. Impossible. I'm actually trying here. Is my blade dulled?" But as Madara wonders, even more of the unthinkable happens as when we zoom in on the blade of Madara, soon the smallest of hairline fractures and cracks begin to show.
His blade is cracking, okay.
And just like that, as if inevitable, the blade of the second snaps under pressure, cleanly in half, as the ball of energy from the dark beast just continues to rush forward. Impossible! Eventually shooting past the shocked member of the Five towards its target.
Oh, he went past them? Damn, I thought he was gonna have to, like, you know, push it up, but no, he just...
What just happened? He broke the Izanagi! But even the third could do that! But back with the destroyers, who are about to be annihilated themselves, Mule yells out, "No, you don't!" And just like that, the two escape at the last second to fight.
Why didn't they do that earlier?
And Madara, noticing from a distance their departure, just thinks to himself, at least I was able to stall enough for those two to actually get out of my way. Before looking back down to the useless broken stub that is now his once legendary weapon, and lets out, "But this is just astonishing. I haven't seen a nickel scratch on this thing in millennia. And here it is now, a useless piece of trash." Before then nonchalantly just dropping the damaged weapon onto the ground, as if having accepted the situation. Before continuing, though the more surprising thing here is that this beast even managed to break out of the eyes of Azuna. That should not be possible for any gods in this realm, let alone a damn mortal. This hasn't happened since him. As right behind Madara now appears a mysterious demon-like figure with strange eyes that we seem to have seen mentioned a number of times.
Dude, who the hell is that, dude?
Before the second continues, but he broke through the illusion of sheer mental power alone. The years of horrible conditions in the demon realm made any nightmare I created totally powerless. Surely, this mortal couldn't have done the same? What even triggered this transformation? Did I go too far? But regardless, without too much actual fear or hesitation, Madara then descends immediately towards the ground, standing toe-to-toe with the horned beast, before then grabbing onto his mask once again and inquiring, "So, you seem to be a little stronger than before, aren't you, my dear Vegito? I dare say with those horns, you finally look more like your namesake, God Killer. Is this your true form?" But in response, of course, the near-mute Dark Warrior would just continue to let out ashy smoke from his mouth as he stares down Madara with internalized disdain. Madara now, without his sword though, would just get into a strange fighting stance of his own and respond back, Huh? Not the talkative type anymore, eh? You seem to have so much more to say than for that little bad dream I put you through, didn't you, Vegito? Well, no matter. In that case, we'll save the small talk and get this over with instead. A beast like you must be put down anyway! As instantly, confirming the confidence of the second, Madara rushes in excitedly like a wild animal, straight for the still sword-wielding creature in front.
Okay.
But just as he throws out his first punch, as if the Black Beast's Ultra Instinct was still intact, it instantly dodges straight out of the way.
Oh,
with a devilish laugh that doesn't in fact
okay.
remind us of Vegito. Instantly, mid-attack, the
hell out of
wrist
his
of
arm,
Madara
okay.
is grabbed. Huh? Let go, you!
Whoa!
What?
Whoa!
But before the sentence could even begin to be finished, as if ripping off a rose
Whoa.
of its stem, the grinning dark creature would shockingly rip Madara's arm in half within nanoseconds.
Whoa! Wow. Okay.
You vile mortal! Leaving the delirious with shock Madara to scream out in pain, but also
I was
pure
not expecting that.
disbelief
He
at what the
ripped off his
transformed
arm.
God-killer
Oh,
had
no.
even just done to
A true
as
beast.
blood
man.
pours and leaks
Okay.
instantly from his wound. And for the first time with a serious undertone of anger, grabbing onto his now pumping with pain shoulder, Madara would yell, "You truly are full of surprises! How very bizarre. Your speed has jumped at least tenfold to do something like that. Not to mention your strength to make a god bleed like this. Seems that dark energy surrounding you now is a little bit more than just aesthetic."
I hope so.
But with an increasingly large grin on the pitch-black warrior's face, he would begin giggling as he lifts the ripped forearm of the second before him like a prize trophy. Before crushing it, instantly like a mere scrunched up piece of paper. And more notably, as soon as that was done, so too is the forearm instantly erased somehow, without even the mention of the word Hakai. As if the Dark Beast had somehow now reached an all-new level of destruction power mastery while in this state.
Okay.
Think I'm supposed to care about that arm, mortal? You can do with it as you like. As in response, in a surprising turn of events, the second immediately rips off what's left of his arm, straight down to the shoulder, before dropping it with a thud right beside him.
Okay.
But though the bravado before made him seem unbothered, as the atmosphere around the second changes, the true anger within him becomes apparent, as he lets out, "Well done for maiming me, God Killer. For once you actually make guts seem reasonable for falling to the likes of you. But I'm afraid, if you think losing one arm would be enough to weaken me, you're in for a rude awakening." As suddenly,
he's trying.
with a rising yell, Madara begins powering up his own energy, with at first no aura appearing except for a rumble on the very surface of the planet.
He still has his damn
Pressure
mask on, so
and
you can't even see his
atmosphere
facial
changing
expressions.
until
I almost forgot that I was a mask, honestly.
With a ferocious roar that resembles the one given off by the beast before him, his entire body becomes enveloped with a tremendously powerful aura that soon spirals into a cylinder that reaches the heavens themselves. And through it, Madara slowly rises from the bottom towards the top, all before the eyes of the dark beast below. But though almost point-blank faced with the humongous power-up, not so much as a flinch can be seen by the demon-like creature, as the wind blows his flowing white hair in all directions. But almost in a spectacle for the ages, the plume of vast energy soon begins to contort and change shape, until suddenly a pair of eyes become visible through what can only be described as a cloak of divine heat, continuing to change shape and form until suddenly, standing there complete, now making
like one of those
the
energy
dark beast
apparition
appear as an
things.
ant before him is a giant apparition, dressed in traditional samurai wear and with a sword of his own, as flares of energy begin to ripple off the titan. But as we zoom in on the giant apparition, hidden within its intimidating face is a crystal pentagon, with a familiar, blurred silhouette within. And soon, once peered in even closer, it is of course revealed to be Madara, having unleashed his energy to create this monster that encapsulates him. With his severed arm now giving off strange particles, Madara would then begin saying quaintly, "Ha ha 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 ha. You know, I've had that arm for millennia. But I suppose all good things must come to an end, and a new beginning must eventually start." As suddenly,
I mean, that is something you could do in the Dragon Ball world. You could make a key arm, right?
An entirely new
That's crazy. And it's actually kind of cool, too.
That seems to be making up the apparition is formed in perfect muscular definition. And with his head now,
but it probably wouldn't
bowing in
feel the
sinister
same, but maybe it
fashion,
could. I mean, I don't know.
pleased with himself, Madara would finally say, "Ah, much better. I believe now, Vegito, you can finally see the difference between myself and Guts. Behold, the power of Madara, second of the 5 strongest in the multiverse!" But as Madara makes his declaration of strength, suddenly, the demonic beast just begins to burst out into a cold laughter. As more smoke bellows out, his sharp, inhuman teeth begin to bear out. And with the grin growing even larger by the second, the beast would inexplicably begin lifting up the blade of destruction, but not in a fashion that could be used for attacking. At least, not attacking Madara. As suddenly, in a completely unexpected shift, the dark being swipes the blade at himself.
What?
Laughing as the blade rushes in at him, now aimed at his face of all targets. The same blade that made cold cuts of Guts himself, now shooting towards the most vulnerable spot on the God Killer. What? What are you doing, fool? The turn of events even shocking
what is he
Madara
doing?
as he watches on, trying his hardest to figure out what the motive behind this is until... In incredible fashion, on impact with the dark beast's face, the near unbreakable blade of destruction that cut through even Kachin shatters into multiple pieces as if made of glass. But the shocking feats do not end there.
Oh, that's that demon.
As out of
That's
the
that demon that was
shattered
inside the
remains of
sword,
blade,
right?
Suddenly, a dark mass of energy that can only resemble a mini devil shoots out with a thunderous scream.
How did he know he was powerful enough to do that?
No! And though who or what it is remains a mystery to us viewers, to Madara, a sudden wave of fear rushes through his entire body as he mutters, He let out the demon emperor within the sword! To the realm of mortals? You fool!
Come
Oh,
What? But before Madara's fear and panic could reach its peak, just as the Demon Emperor has his first taste of freedom, instantly it is grabbed by the throat and stopped straight in place. The completely stunned Emperor just stares into the eyes of its attacker with confusion until... In almost immediate fashion, the entire life force and being of the demon is absorbed straight into the left arm of the darkened
left
body.
arm. Isn't that his
Presumably
android
through
arm?
usage of the energy absorption device.
Yeah, yeah.
Should still be in his palm.
Okay.
What? And from within the shell of his giant apparition, even the Titan reacts in unison with Madara, moving back in fear and absolute confusion over what had just happened.
Yeah,
And when we zoom
I would say
in
I'm
on
confused
Madara,
too.
with his hand raised to his face as if defending himself from the sight he had just witnessed, he mumbles, How did he get rid of a demon emperor so quickly? He just touched it and it vanished. Has his destruction power really risen to the level of affecting even demons? But as Madara wonders what comes next,
Dude, what is this?
suddenly
What is this,
the
bro?
dark beast's
This
body
looks crazy. This is a
begins
crazy
to
shot
change,
right here.
lowering in mass while stretching out. The very skin of the creature begins to evaporate off in a smoky mist. All the while, an overjoyed smile can be seen all over its face. And as its entire body is soon lost in the dark smoke, as it eventually dissipates, the eye of a very iconic figure can then be seen.
Okay, is
But
he
along
back?
with that, an arm and chest now appearing, covered in a familiar fur, and below, a strange tail resembling a
Yeah, he's a
Saiyan's,
tail now?
more demonic in nature. As
Hey, yo, Super
unbelievably
Saiyan
finally
4?
revealing
Demon
himself
Vegito, bro?
is Ultra Vegito. But
Is that a
now,
V?
looking markedly different in an entirely
That's
new
interesting,
form.
dude.
Covered in sharp purple lightning, purple fur resembling a Super Saiyan 4 or 5, while his
Okay.
hair, now longer and sharper, bears still the purple of Ultra Ego and the white of Ultra
Oh, damn.
Ego.
This is crazy, dude. This is a
Adding
crazy
to it
form.
all, of course, are the two protruding horns that can only tell us of Vegito's now demonic descent. And with one
Oh, damn.
final grin, all is
You guys
then
know I'm a big fan of
confirmed
Super Saiyan
as he
4, so I'll
lets
take
out,
this. I'll take this form, dude.
Sorry for swallowing up that demon emperor you were so fond of. How about instead, you say hello to a true devil now, Madara?
Alright, he's speaking again. That's
As
good.
finally, the multiverse witnesses the ungodly true power of the God Killer.
Yeah, guys, that was great. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that was a great episode. I'm trying to give that one a 9, guys. Don't worry, there will be some 10s later on. Definitely, I could see it now, but I'm gonna give that one a 9. Man. That was fun, man. I had fun with that episode, guys. So, Super Saiyan 4 Demon Ultra. Wait, Super Saiyan 4 Ultra Demon Vegito, guys. It's here. It's here. So I'll see you guys in the next video, of course. Man, let's go.